he's back, baby.
Yep.
We finally got it after
finally introduced him.
weeks of teasing and waiting. Daredevil has finally made his first MCU appearance in this week's episode of She-Hulk, episode 8, Ribbit and Rip It. And rip it he did, Marvin. This was by far the best episode. I know I said that last week, but this just usurped that bigly.
Was it the best episode? I think it's like Daredevil bias or something.
It's a heavy Daredevil bias for sure, but this episode also had like a lot of other good stuff that I think in terms of like just character building and just, you know, story stuff. Like, I really liked the fact that this was the episode. I mean, yes, it was via Matt Murdock, but I liked that this was finally the episode where she realizes the thing we said in the very first review we did for this show is that she has the opportunity to help people under the law and also when the law fails them as She-Hulk.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that's something Matt Murdock talks about a lot in the Daredevil series. So it was cool to kind of see that carry through here.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like something Jen would do, though, really. I don't know. I don't see her helping people outside of the law.
Well, I think that's
like a...
We saw her do it in the episode, though.
Yeah, I think that...
Well, yeah, but that was the first time in the whole season. Like that seemed out of character to me for her.
I think
it definitely was. You're right there. But she's going to have to grow into that, I think, is what this is really building to.
Yeah, I think the fact that it is out of character is just that we've like this season or series. I don't know if there's going to be a second season, but this journey she's on is the build up to what you said, where this is very out of character for her because she only knows the law and is very apprehensive to be a superhero.
Right, and
we're seeing her sort of accept the role of a superhero of like, well, I got this shit. And you know, Matt makes a good point because the law only takes you so far, right? We even see that in real life when people get fucking locked up for 40 years of their life for something that they didn't do or if
you're basically saying a veteran doing what he's doing, showing an apprentice how it's done.
Yeah.
Like Matt Murdock, Daredevil, this is what he does. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And She-Hulk, this is all new to her. So for him to come in and be like, yeah, you know, he made some jokes about how many times have you done this? You know, just follow my lead, please, because you know, I've done this a couple of times.
This also Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say she got destroyed in that case.
Oh yeah,
we've been used to seeing her win kind of easily.
Mm-hmm.
And, Matt just comes in and
he's
showing her in more ways than one who the OG is, I guess.
That's that New York law, Marvin. That's what that is. We do it different over here, but
it's them rats.
Yeah.
But so a little bit more. So this journey of hers, right? It also speaks to something that's kind of gone on in the MCU as a whole, and they mentioned it very briefly in this episode. But the Sokovia Accords also speaks to that premise of like there's only so much that could be done under the law because the Sokovia Accords was literally a law trying to prevent heroes from doing what they should do without, you know, jurisdictional bullshit and like
without government approval.
Yeah, without the governments of the world coming together with approval and stuff like that. So I sort of really like that premise, but also it ties it back into the Daredevil series because that was like his whole MO. That was his excuse basically for beating the living shit out of people. And well, listen, sometimes the law just, you know, doesn't work out. But Marvin, I don't remember, you did or did not watch Daredevil, the series?
I did not watch Daredevil at all.
Okay.
No.
So I have a question for you because while I was watching this, I was kind of, we're all curious, like how this Daredevil is going to be different from the series of the Daredevil. And I mentioned it once a couple episodes back. It's obviously not going to be him like brutally beating people. It's going to be a little bit different than that. But what I was wondering is, did you get a clear sense of him as a character just from this appearance? Because from my perspective, having watched the Daredevil series, it seems like they, without a vast amount of exposition, they did basically get you up to speed of just like, this is who this guy is and this is what he believes.
Yeah, pretty much. They pretty much show like what he's about. He laid it out like if he can't do it in the courtroom, he's gonna figure out a way to do it outside. So yeah, I think so.
And and again, they did
it was a quick and dirty character intro for people who haven't watched, because I mean, the Netflix series were more adult oriented, so there's even a lot of kids who didn't get to watch it or didn't watch it. So.
Right.
And they did a good job with, I think, no, I'm really blind, but these are my powers. And she's like, oh, was it like echolocation? He's like, yeah, kind of.
Echolocation.
And it's all the stuff that they establish in that series, but just like they get right to the point of it. So I really liked his introduction, just coming into the courtroom like a fucking boss. Like, I'm here. But yeah, I'm glad they got him back. He's fucking great. I love him so much. He played a really good Matt Murdock in that series, and I'm excited to see where they go with him. Charlie Cox, that is.
Right.
Our introduction to Matt Murdock comes because Jennifer is given a case by her boss, one that she doesn't really want to get involved in.
Another one she doesn't want to get involved.
Yeah. She is
a lot of those.
Yeah, she's essentially forced to defend a client by the name of, well, not defend, actually. He's the plaintiff, I guess, in this case.
Right.
A character called Leapfrog, who's this bozo fucking fake
AKA
vigilante guy. Yeah.
Fucking Frogger, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, man, he had the Frogger game in his lair. This shit was funny.
He's a big meme in the comics.
Yeah.
He was actually a better introduction than Daredevil to me in this, but they changed him as well. So
he's like an actual frog, and he appeared in Daredevil comic books like way back when.
Oh.
No? Not an actual frog.
Yeah, I thought he's like an actual like man frog thing.
No. Patillo's dad. So in the show, right? This is how I understand it. Maybe I'm wrong here. In the show, he's a pretentious rich kid. His dad is a big client to the company. In the comics, his dad was like a failed inventor who turned to crime. One of his inventions was this leapfrog costume. He turned to crime, put the costume on, robbed some stuff to pay rent, and got put in jail. And his son put the costume on and said, I'm going to make this, a sign of good instead of a sign of bad that got my dad. He was trying to like reform the Frogman thing. He was still a meme through the whole thing. He caught some bad guys and got a little notoriety, but
got it.
He's a Marvel meme.
Yeah, well,
he's a piece of shit in this. Then they didn't.
Also,
they didn't
spoiler
stick to the
alert
script with that.
He's a Skrull in Secret Invasion.
Oh, okay. He was also.
So we may or may not see that play out. Who knows?
He was also a big fucking meme in this show because, like I said, he's a spoiled rich kid, but he has this like Batman persona. He even had like a frog signal that was in the background of his lair.
Yeah.
That was like, the same as the bat signal. But so Jennifer she has to get on this case because his super suit malfunctioned. His foot
allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
His foot thrusters sort of malfunctioned and set him on fire. And his suit was created by the same guy who makes Jennifer's suits, Luke Jacobson.
Right.
The designer. So she has to take him to court, and while in court, he's sitting by himself, Luke, and the judge is like, "You're representing yourself," and he's like, "No, of course not." And boom, in comes Matt Murdock.
Yep.
And Matt
expect them to do it that way. Introduce him that way.
Yeah, because in the comic books, well, I knew there had to be a reason for him to come to Los Angeles, or wherever the show takes place. I think it's LA, right? And at first glance, I assumed maybe he's just going to pick up his suit, but I kind of figured they were going to do something with this because, like, very famously in the comic books, like Matt and Jennifer meet in court like a lot. So,
oh really? Okay.
Yeah. So I kind of assumed that was going to happen, but 8 episodes in and they're just teasing me on social media. I wasn't sure when he was even going to show up, but yeah. So he shows up, and with his fucking superpowers of his super sensory powers, he sniffs out the actual fuel that Mr. Leapfrog used, which was jet fuel and the incorrect fuel. So the case was thrown out.
Jet fuel doesn't melt frog boots.
It melts.
Nah, that's all I got.
It melts steel beams, but it doesn't melt frog
boots. You got
boots.
a truther.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the setup to Matt was pretty funny, and then I really liked the little like sort of I wouldn't say romance, but the little I guess sexual tension between him and Jen. And I like that he was showing her the ropes, and he's like, oh, this is the difference between goons and henchmen. And then we get the fucking hallway scene, which was pretty cool too, because that was a callback to the series. In season 1 of Daredevil, Marvin, there's like this really fucking badass scene. I think it's a tracking shot, like a single take of him just beating the fuck out of these dudes in a hallway. And it became like one of the more popular parts of the show. So that this felt like a nod to that.
Okay.
But
instead of him beating them up as much, she just hops from the ceiling and finishes off.
Yeah, she just crushed like 4 guys at once with her fucking shit. I like that she had like, and it shows, it speaks to the fact that she's like a rookie at this superhero shit and completely disinterested, because she's fucking destroying all sorts of private property, cars and fucking parking lots and buildings and everything. So
things you would expect from a rookie.
Yeah, and she's got some stuff to learn for sure.
Right.
And
how do you feel about her super suit? Not really what I was expecting.
Well, I knew exactly what it was because it was in the promo posters before the series came out.
Yeah. Why the fuck would they do that?
Well, I don't know why they would do that and then in the series, like, kind of build up to it.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
That makes no sense. I don't know. I was kind of indifferent on it. I spent more time sort of analyzing Daredevil suit. Honestly, this
it's not all that dissimilar from a suit she wears in the comics, except in the comics it doesn't have like the legs. It's more of a
like a one-piece old wrestling suit that you would see in like.
Oh, got it.
Yeah,
with the cheeks out.
Yep. Oh yeah, cheeks hanging.
Always got the cheeks out. Comics love to have the cheeks out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
I thought the one night stand they had was really funny because it ended in Matt Murdock taking the walk of shame.
Oh, that was great. Yeah.
I thought that was fucking hilarious, and we get like a really like bizarre fourth wall break where it's like sort of the Ferris Bueller thing where she comes out of her bedroom post, previous night's sex, and she was like, "Oh, you guys are still here? I didn't expect to see you guys. This feels weird. This feels like the episode should have ended," which is pretty funny because I had not looked at the time.
Yeah, it did feel like it was gonna end.
Yeah, and we actually end up finishing off the episode at this award ceremony where she's up for the best female lawyer of the year or some shit.
Yeah, which was a fluke because there was like 20 other women.
Yeah, which is
up there.
Yeah, which
bunch
is
of male chauvinists giving women trophies to make them feel good about themselves.
Yeah, take your trophy and fuck off.
Right.
But we find out that this was the big, part of the big scheme to ruin her reputation by the Frog King.
We see why the phone was cloned now.
Yes. And he didn't only take pictures; he fucking filmed them having sex. That's fucked up.
Secret video of them fucking. Yeah, he's got to die now. I think. He's got to die.
And her private information is blown up onto this big screen at this ceremony, and it's showing her having sex. It's showing her like fake Tinder history. It's showing a bunch of shit, and there's commentary going on that she's what did they say? She's a slut, and like she's all this stuff.
Straight up, yeah. She had some Hulk rage.
Oh yeah,
in there, right? I think she blacked out.
Well, this comes full circle to the first episode because if you remember,
she was so in control.
She was so in control, and Bruce was telling her like, "Listen, I get it.
Something might happen,
but you never know. Like, please just let me guide you." Right. And she
didn't listen.
She didn't listen.
She got up out of there, dude.
Yep.
She was too confident, too cocky.
And in this one, she freaked the fuck out and she hulked out. That's the term. That's where that comes from. She smashed the screen. She fucking busted through a wall and caught this guy. And unfortunately, Damage Control was there waiting for her. You might actually not have known who they were, Marvin. I don't even know if you do, Dusty, because you didn't watch Miss Marvel. But Damage Control was first established in the first Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man Homecoming. It's basically a government agency that was partially developed in cooperation with Tony Stark to clean up the messes that the Avengers cause.
Okay.
And early on, they were basically salvaging Chitauri tech from the Battle of New York and the original Avengers. Well, now where we're at, they have a way more oppressive presence. And in Ms. Marvel, they are essentially hunting down superpowered people with abilities. And in Ms. Marvel, they also show that there are some disagreements within the organization itself as to how they should proceed. But I have a feeling they're being built up to this villainous status. So that's who those guys were that showed up with their fucking like laser cannons and all this shit.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, Jen didn't get to unmask the guy that she caught, and now she looks like she looks like the bad guy. And that's how things sort of happen in real life too, right? Like somebody gets smeared publicly, and then their response to it is the thing that the public actually focuses on, which is fucking stupid. So the victim turns into the enemy.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious, where this is going to go, and because the next episode's the last one, it's the finale.
Right. I think it's going to be a longer episode, and there's definitely going to be some blowback. I don't know exactly what's going to happen with her career. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Daredevil was supposed to leave. Are we thinking he stuck around and is going to help her and be a part of the season finale, and we get a two-parter?
Maybe.
Or is he gone and that's all we get?
Maybe. I don't know.
Hard to say.
It is hard to say. One thing I did think was interesting to note, though, was that at one point in the episode, she gets a text message from fucking good old Todd.
Oh, yeah. Todd's back.
And Todd is like, oh, I need to see you immediately, or do I have to call your boss and whatever, being a fucking rich prick. And anyway, so she meets up with him, and he's sort of showing off that he purchased a piece of Wakandan spear, basically.
Yeah.
At an auction. For $1 million.
The guy asking if vibranium could pierce her skin brought a vibranium spear.
Yeah.
I think he wants to test it out.
Well, that's
some BDSM shit.
That's what I'm wondering at this point.
Todd says, no one is collating African shit on my level. That shit was funny.
Yeah, well, it's actually... Oh my God. She goes, that's problematic. That makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But what's actually interesting about that is that goes back to the first Black Panther film, because what's his name? What the fuck is the villain's name in that movie? Killmonger. When he was at the museum trying to salvage pieces of vibranium for himself, he says to the museum's curator, like, "Oh, you're fucking. You think
this is yours?
Yeah,
it's not really yours.
Your ancestors fucking took everything, or they took it like they took everything." So this kind of plays back into that, and there are some real world instances, recent ones of
the Queen's Diamond.
Well, there's a lot of stuff.
I mean, there's a lot, but that's the most recent I can think of.
Yeah, and I was
big ass diamond.
Well, there's some, like, a lot of South American stuff is in like American museums, probably stolen by colonizers. And in fact, John Oliver did a episode on this very thing about how museums have apparently something, I don't know the exact number, but a very high percentage of like African relics and stuff are in the like major museums, maybe not just in the United States, but they don't even belong to like where they come from, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting little piece. But back to what Dusty said, yes, it is interesting that after being all fucking weird about like, oh, do you think vibranium can pierce your skin? He's going out and buying vibranium spears.
Right.
So I'm wondering if he is part of the secret cabal that's out to get her.
Probably.
Or if he's just a red herring. That's what I'm curious about.
He might just be a weirdo, yeah.
Like, he could just be a very strategic red herring.
Secretly funding all the shit.
He could be.
Intelligentsia, like
absolutely,
fucking Asgardian construction guys. Who knows?
So that's going to be an interesting thread to unravel next episode. I am actually looking forward to it. One thing that I just wanted to talk about a little bit, just to I have a little bit of a bone to pick with the show. It's not really anything crazy, but we said it earlier, and we've said it almost every episode. You got all this like commentary about the show, how bad it is, and writing is terrible, all that other stuff. I don't really think it's that bad of a show, honestly. Like, I've been entertained by it, but I also don't think it's like an objectively good show. I do think there are like certain problems with it and things like that. And I wonder why, if you choose to bring in a character like Matt Murdock for the first time into the MCU, into a show like this, you have to assume that it's going to overshadow literally everything else about the show. And I think that's part of why people are having a problem with this, is like they're teasing Matt Murdock. We've made jokes about it, and it hasn't deterred me in any way, but like, I just think it's bizarre that they, like, this episode was literally...
You also have to take into account, if you have a fear that some people may not watch the show because they're disinterested, if you dangle something like
100%.
Daredevil's going to be in the show, other people will watch it.
Absolutely, but that's not where I was going with that. I was just basically saying, like, this particular episode has now outshined the whole show, and it's seemed...
like,
go ahead.
Well, it's like I can compare it to like an artist when they make an album, and then they have a feature on the album, and they they destroy the song. It's the best song on the track.
Like when you have Eminem.
The best song on the album. Right, like I could compare it to that,
Yeah, no, for sure. And it just seems, because like the other episodes comparatively weren't as strong. And I get where there's certain character development and stuff like that you have to do when you're introducing a character, for sure. But like a lot of these episodes have just felt like a Matt Murdock waiting room now at this point. I can see that.
I don't think this was the best episode. I think I still like the retreat episode. That's probably my favorite episode. I would compare them.
I still really like that. But you were right about the Matt Murdock bias. Like the Daredevil bias is for sure there. Like,
yeah.
And it just sucks to me that this is what everybody now is. This is what everybody came to see, and like.
Yeah, it's basically just his intro, like you said, the Matt Murdock waiting room. It's basically just his intro into the greater MCU, right?
Which for people who are fans who watch the Netflix series already got. So
and we don't know.
I mean, maybe that's okay for this show. Like if they just. You think they're going to do multiple seasons of this show?
Well, I was just going to say
Matt Murdock intro.
I was just going to say, I don't know where this character's going or if there's going to be more series. I'm sure she's going to appear in more shit, right? They're not just going to.
Yeah, for sure.
So what I'm sort of not upset, but for lack of a better word, I'm a little bit upset that this is how this show will be remembered now, is Daredevil's introduction.
Pretty much, unless they change something drastically in the finale.
Yeah, we don't know what's going to happen in the finale, but for now, I think that's where that's the show's legacy for the time being, is like it was just a Daredevil introduction, and which sucks because she is a cool character.
We'll continue on. I mean, one of the I forget who it was. Pretty sure it was one of the actors. Maybe it was one of the producers or directors. Tweeted out one time there won't be another Avengers movie that doesn't have She-Hulk in it. And that's not to say she will be in all of them.
Right.
But they have plans for her beyond the show. And I'm sure they plan to continue the show because she's a mainstay now. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, either way, I liked the episode. Again, I thought it was really good. And I'm semi-excited to see what happens in the finale because, it's similar to what you just said. Like, they don't introduce shit just for the sake of it. So, like, it's all going to go somewhere eventually. So there's, we'll hold out hope for that. But you guys have any final things to say? Final thoughts?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay. Dusty?
Well, my feelings. I'm not a fan of the show. I have stated it before. This was the best episode so far, but it was just okay to me.
Okay.
Not just like the Daredevil stuff. I mean, I thought that was done. I kind of assumed that was what it would be. Just an introduction to Daredevil for people who haven't seen it. But I don't know. I mean, I'll be glad when this is over. I'm looking forward to the last episode just because, but
You're sick of it.
Let's get it over with.
Okay, fair enough. Let us know in the comments, folks, what you guys think of this episode of She-Hulk. What did you think of Daredevil's introduction? Do you give a shit? And what do you think
of his costume?
Yeah, I like the costume.
Like it.
You didn't?
No.
There's actually a little bit of backstory to it. I think we've mentioned this before, that it's an earlier concept in the comic books, but in the comics he actually made it. His dad, Marvin, is a boxer who basically got the shit knocked out of him.
He would throw fights from time to time.
Yeah, to make some
extra money.
But
he
so Matt made this
the red and golds.
Matt made this red and gold from his father's robe because that was red and gold. So that's why.
Got it.
But he does mention in this episode that he specifically mentions Luke has made a couple of new suits for me, which indicates that he does have other suits.
Right,
so maybe he'll go. This will be his LA drip, when he's in town. But yeah, let us know, folks, in the comments. Please be sure to subscribe if you have not done so already, and check out our website, harshlanguage.tv, and we'll catch you in the next one.
See ya.
Hasta.